The vast trade hub of Orvac Station floated silently in orbit around a golden star, a giant ring of metal and glass where thousands of species came and went. Ships of all sizes docked in its ports, unloading goods, passengers, and secrets. The corridors buzzed with activity. Merchants shouted prices in alien languages. Robotic helpers rolled along on silent wheels, and travelers hurried by, their eyes fixed on holographic displays. Among them, Captain Elias Hart, a human explorer in a worn gray uniform, walked carefully, holding a small data pad. His dark hair was messy from a long journey through the outer sector, and his boots clanged lightly against the metal floor. Elias had spent most of his life exploring uncharted systems, cataloging planets, and making friends and enemies across the galaxy. He had a reputation among humans and aliens alike. A man who noticed small details that others missed. That reputation had led him here, to the busiest sector of Orvac Station, chasing rumors of unusual energy readings that did not match any known technology. Elias barely noticed the crowd as he studied a display of alien trade statistics. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw her. She moved gracefully, her presence drawing attention without effort. Princess Lyra of Zenthara was tall, regal, and unlike any alien Elias had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly under the station lights, patterned with glowing lines that traced delicate curves across her back and shoulders. Her hair floated slightly in the artificial gravity, luminous streaks glinting with every movement. Elias froze for a moment. It wasn't just her beauty, it was the markings on her back. They seemed alive, pulsating gently, as if they had their own rhythm. Humans were known for curiosity, but this was something else. He didn't understand why, but he felt compelled to study them, to figure out their purpose. He took a careful step closer, hoping to get a better look. "Hey, watch where you're going," a voice barked. Elias jumped and nearly dropped his data pad. He turned to see a security officer, a stocky alien with green skin and 4 arms. "Sorry, I didn't mean," but it was too late. In that same moment, the princess had noticed him. Her eyes, violet and glowing faintly, narrowed. "Why do you keep staring at my back, human?" she demanded, her voice both melodic and sharp. "Do you know who I am?" Elias swallowed hard. "Princess Lyra, I wasn't staring. I mean..." His words tangled. He had no plan for addressing an alien royal, especially one who seemed offended by his curiosity. Lyra took a step closer, and her eyes studied him like a hawk. The crowd around them seemed to fade. "You were staring," she said simply, "and only a human would have the nerve to look without permission. Tell me why." Elias realized that explanations would not be easy. I'm a scientist," he said finally, choosing honesty over excuses. "I've seen many species, many cultures. I find patterns fascinating. The markings on your back, they're unlike anything I've ever seen. I didn't mean any disrespect." But Lyra's expression softened slightly, but her eyes stayed sharp. "Patterns? You speak of patterns when speaking to a princess?" Elias nodded. "Yes, I study energy, life, and culture. These markings, they're more than decoration. They're alive, somehow. They react." Lyra tilted her head, curiosity sparking in her gaze. "React?" He took a careful breath. "When you moved, they pulsed. Not like normal bioluminescence. It's almost as if they are aware of me noticing them. It's subtle, but it's there." Her lips curved into a faint smile, half amusement, half suspicion. "Fascinating. Most humans would be too frightened to even approach me. But you examine. Curious. Dangerous. Perhaps both." Elias swallowed again. He knew that at any moment, a wrong move could land him in the station's prison. Or worse. But curiosity had always been his guide, even when danger lurked. "I mean no harm," he said earnestly. "If you allow me, I can explain what I think is happening. It's unusual, even by alien standards. I've never seen anything like it before." Lyra studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded slightly. "Very well, human. Speak. But know this, if you lie or attempt to deceive me, you will regret it." Elias relaxed slightly, though only slightly. He gestured toward a quieter corridor. "Can we talk somewhere private?" She considered, then motioned for him to follow. Her guards moved silently behind, but kept their distance. The two of them walked down a side corridor, lined with transparent panels, showing the stars beyond. Ships streaked past in silent arcs, glowing against the dark void. "I don't usually let strangers follow me," Lyra said, her voice softer now. "Especially humans. But I am intrigued. How do you see what others cannot?" Elias glanced at her back again, trying to hide his fascination. "Humans have evolved to notice patterns," he said simply. "It's part of our survival. We notice movement, light, changes in the environment. I think, in your case, it's something more than biology. There's energy here. I can sense it." Lyra stopped walking and turned to face him fully. "Energy? Humans? Can sense energy?" "Some of us can," Elias replied. "It's rare, but I believe it's why I was drawn to your markings. They called my attention." Lyra looked at him, a mixture of surprise and curiosity. Then she laughed softly, a sound like music echoing in the empty corridor. "You are bold, human. Most of my guards would have immediately restrained you for such insolence. And yet, here you are, speaking as if this is a casual conversation." Elias chuckled nervously. "I try to stay alive as long as possible. Boldness sometimes helps." For the first time, Lyra seemed to relax. "Perhaps it does. I wonder, could you truly understand them, these markings, or are you only seeing what you wish to see?" Elias considered. "I don't know yet, but I want to try. If you allow it, I can study them safely, and perhaps we can learn something important." Lyra's gaze softened further. She gestured to a nearby observation deck overlooking the station's docking ports. "Then we will try. But understand this, human. Curiosity is a dangerous thing. Do not mistake my tolerance for weakness." Elias nodded. "Understood, Princess." They reached the observation deck, a quiet place away from the chaos. The stars beyond seemed endless, and the hum of the station was distant here. Elias studied the markings on her back, careful not to touch, only to observe. He noticed subtle waves of light, almost like a heartbeat. They shifted slightly as he moved his gaze, as if they were aware of being seen. He realized this was no ordinary pattern. This was something alive, something ancient, something that might hold the key to powers long forgotten. "Do you feel it?" he asked quietly. Lyra turned slightly, considering him. "The energy, it's responsive. Not aggressive, not defensive, just aware, like it's waiting for something or someone." Her eyes widened faintly. You feel it? A human feels the energy of Zenthara markings?" He nodded. "Yes. I think I might be able to understand it. If you let me, I can help." Lyra stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then, finally, she nodded. "Very well, human. We shall see if your curiosity is useful or foolish. But know this. I will not forgive betrayal." Elias swallowed, feeling a mixture of excitement and dread. He had no idea what lay ahead. But one thing was certain. The universe was far larger, far stranger, and far more dangerous than he had ever imagined. And somehow, he knew. He and the princess were about to uncover something that would change both of their worlds forever. As the two stood in silence, watching ships glide past the distant stars, Elias felt a spark of hope and the unmistakable thrill of discovery. The observation deck was quiet, but the silence between Elias Hart and Princess Lyra was filled with tension. Outside the transparent panels, ships of all sizes glided past Orvax station, their lights flickering against the black void of space. The princess's markings pulsed faintly, casting shimmering patterns across the floor. Elias studied them carefully, his human instincts alert. "Your markings. They're more than decoration," he said again, his voice low. "I think they contain information, or energy, something alive inside them." Lyra's violet eyes narrowed. "Information? Energy? You speak in riddles, human. Explain yourself." He hesitated. It wasn't easy to explain what he felt humans rarely perceived energy this way. "I think your body, your bloodline, it carries ancient technology. Not machines, not tools, but power. Your markings are like a map or a code. They react to certain stimuli, certain attention. I felt it the moment I saw you." Lyra stepped closer. Her glowing lines shimmered with intensity, almost like she was reacting to his words. "Technology in my blood? That is absurd. Zenthara bloodlines carry tradition, knowledge, and leadership, yes. But technology? That is human fantasy." Elias shook his head slowly. "Not fantasy. Look." He held out his datapad. It displayed subtle energy readings he had recorded while observing her markings earlier. Tiny waves of unusual frequencies pulsed in sync with her movements. "See this? It's like your body is alive in ways most science cannot explain." Lyra examined the readings, frowning. "These patterns, they are different. I have never felt them like this." Her voice softened. "Why do you humans always find the extraordinary in the ordinary?" "Because sometimes the ordinary is extraordinary," Elias replied, with a small smile. "I don't want to hurt you, princess. I only want to understand." For a long moment, Lyra studied him. Then she spoke, almost in a whisper. "Very well, human. I will let you try. But you must swear no harm, no deception. If you betray me..." She let the threat hang in the air. "I swear," Elias said firmly. "No harm, no lies, only discovery." Lyra led him through the station's corridors to a private chamber, known only to royals and trusted scholars. The Zenthara archives were a marvel of crystalline structures, walls shimmering with light as data flowed through them like rivers of information. Every surface held holographic records, some centuries old, others continuously updated. "Here," she said, stopping in the center of the chamber. "This is where my ancestors' knowledge is stored. No human has entered here before. Kryver. Alro." Elias looked around in awe. It's incredible. All this knowledge, all in one place. Lyra's gaze softened. "Yes. But it is also dangerous. Some information should not fall into the wrong hands. That is why my markings exist. They are a key, a protector. Only those meant to see the patterns can understand them." Elias's eyes widened. "You mean, my ability to sense this energy, this code, it is rare even among humans?" She nodded. "Rare. And perhaps the universe chose you for a reason. Humans are not the strongest species, Elias Hart. But your kind sometimes sees what others cannot. That vision can be powerful, dangerous, or both." He nodded slowly. "Then, I want to help. Tell me what to do." Lyra led him closer, tilting slightly so he could see the intricate patterns along her spine. "These lines," she said, "are more than skin deep. They contain the knowledge and power of the Xanthara royal line. Long ago, my ancestors discovered how to navigate the galaxy using thoughts and energy, not just engines or computers. This power has lain dormant for generations, waiting for someone who could perceive it properly. Perhaps that someone is you. Elias studied the markings. They pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. It's incredible. But how does it work? You do not know yet, Lyra admitted. Even I cannot control it fully. That is why I am cautious. But the energy reacts to your perception. Humans, who can see patterns like yours, may awaken it safely, or they may trigger forces beyond control. That is why I allowed you here. You may be the key. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the archives. Red lights flashed. Lyra's expression hardened. Intruders! Elias's heart raced. Who? She grabbed his arm. A rival faction has tracked me. They want this power. They will not stop until they take it for themselves. We must move, human. Can you follow my lead? I'll try, Elias said, determination lighting his eyes. He had faced dangers before, but nothing like this. Not an alien royal, not ancient powers, not interstellar politics all converging at once. Lyra led him through hidden passages beneath the station. This faction knows of the Xanthara bloodline, she said quietly. They would enslave our people if they could harness my power. That is why the markings exist. That is why I am here. And that is why you must help. Their mentor, I must help. Elias followed closely, noticing subtle changes in her markings as they moved. The lines pulsed faster, brighter, as if responding to the presence of danger. I can feel it too, he whispered. The energy. It's alive. Alert. Lyra nodded. Yes, your human perception is rare. We must use it wisely. The markings are not just defensive, they are a guide. They show where power lies, where threats hide. If we decode them together, we may protect my people. For hours, they navigated the hidden corridors, avoiding patrols and traps. Elias observed, memorized, and interpreted. Every pulse of the markings gave him information, direction, strength, timing. He began to understand how the patterns worked, how they could reveal paths invisible to ordinary eyes. Finally, they reached a hidden chamber, deep beneath the station. In the center stood a spherical crystal device, floating in midair, glowing faintly. The markings on Lyra's back pulsed brighter as they approached it. This is the heart of Xanthara, Lyra explained. It holds the key to awakening the dormant power in my bloodline. Only someone with your perception can interact with it safely. Touch it, human, and follow the patterns. Elias took a deep breath. His hand hovered over the crystal. It thrummed under his fingers, warm and alive. He followed the flow of light from Lyra's markings, tracing invisible paths in the air. Slowly, the crystal responded, opening channels of energy that aligned with the glowing lines on her back. A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating through the floor. The crystal's energy surged, connecting to Lyra's body. She gasped, a mixture of awe and fear on her face. It feels strange. Alive. Aware. Elias nodded. I can feel it too. It's like it wants to communicate. Not just give power. Let it guide us. For the first time, the markings on Lyra's back glowed fully, casting the chamber in a soft violet light. Patterns shifted, forming a map of energy flows, directions, and potential threats. Elias could see the faint outlines of the rival faction's positions, even beyond the walls of the station. Lyra looked at him, eyes wide. You see it. You understand. A human understands the power of Xanthara. He smiled faintly, though his heart raced. We can use this. We can stop them before they even reach us. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from above. The rival faction had breached the outer defenses. Red lights flashed again, alarms blaring across the station. Lyra's expression hardened. We have little time. Human. Follow my lead. Trust the markings. They will guide us. Elias nodded. The two of them moved quickly, guided by the patterns of light. The crystal energy flowed between them like a river, warning of dangers, suggesting paths, showing strength and weakness. For the first time, Elias realized the true potential of human curiosity combined with alien heritage. They reached a hidden exit, emerging on a quiet observation platform overlooking the stars. The rival faction's ships streaked past, searching, but unable to find them. Elias could see the patterns in the markings pulsing faster, showing safe paths and hidden dangers. Lyra turned to him, breathing heavily. You saved us? Perhaps humans are more than I thought. Perhaps your curiosity is not weakness, but strength. Elias chuckled, exhausted but exhilarated. I've always known humans have potential. Sometimes, it just takes the right challenge to see it. She smiled faintly, a mixture of amusement and respect. You are bold and dangerous. But perhaps, in this galaxy, we need boldness more than caution. The two of them stood in silence, watching the rival ships move past. The markings on Lyra's back glowed faintly, returning to a calm pulse. Elias could still feel the energy flowing, alive, aware, guiding them even now. I think this is only the beginning, he said, quietly. Lyra nodded. Yes, human. The beginning of something far greater than either of us could imagine. And somewhere deep inside the glowing patterns, a pulse of ancient energy waited, ready to awaken fully, ready to change the fate of Zenthara and the galaxy forever. The binary suns of Zenthara hung low over the horizon, casting the cliffs and oceans below in shades of gold and violet. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of alien flora from the high cliffs. Princess Lyra and Elias Hart stood atop the tallest cliff, overlooking the planet's capital. From this height, the entire city sparkled like a constellation, its buildings blending crystalline structures with natural landscapes. The stakes had never been higher. The rival faction that had attacked Orvac Station had now tracked them to Zenthara. Their goal was simple: seize the princess and harness the energy in her markings to dominate nearby star systems. But Elias and Lyra were not powerless. Lyra's markings glowed brightly in the fading light. The pulses synchronized with her heartbeat. The energy in my bloodline. It's awakening faster than I expected, she said, her voice tense but controlled. I can feel it responding to your perception, human. Are you ready? Elias squared his shoulders. I'm ready. We've come too far to back down now. He glanced at the crystal device they had activated on Orvac Station. The power is strong, but it reacts to the mind, to understanding, not just will. That's where humans have an edge. Lyra raised an eyebrow. Explain. He gestured toward her markings. Humans like me. We notice patterns in energy, in motion, in life. Others may see power as raw force. We see it as a language. We can interpret it, guide it, and use it wisely. That is why your markings, your people, and I can do what others cannot. The princess studied him, a mixture of wonder and trust in her eyes. Then guide me, human. Help me control it, fully. Elias nodded. He stepped closer, careful not to touch her, and began describing the flow of energy, the rhythm of the pulses, and the alignment of her markings with the planet's natural fields. Slowly, Lyra followed his instructions, her focus absolute. The glowing lines shifted and extended, forming new patterns across her back and shoulders, brightening with a steady, calm intensity. "This feels different," Lyra murmured. "Stronger, yet controlled, alive, but obedient." "Yes," Elias said, watching closely. "Now, imagine the patterns as pathways. Each pulse, each glow, is a route to safety or power. Follow them, and you can defend your city without weapons. You can guide energy, to shield, to warn, to strike, if needed." Lyra's lips curved into a determined smile. "Then we shall see if humanity's perception is truly worthy of the Zenthara legacy." Far below, in the shadowed valleys and streets of the capital, the rival factions' ships moved into attack formation. Their weapons glimmered under the twin suns, ready to fire. They expected resistance, but not the combination they would face. The princess, awakening the ancient power of her bloodline, guided by a human who could see its invisible paths. Elias took a deep breath. "The markings are reacting to your focus. They know the enemy's intentions. They'll help us shield the city. But you need to trust the energy, Lyra. Don't force it. Let it flow naturally." Lyra nodded. "I trust you, human. Lead me through this." The energy pulsed faster, brighter. Streams of violet light arced from Lyra's back, forming a protective dome over the city. The rival ships fired, but their weapons barely grazed the energy shield. Light bent, shimmered, and redirected in ways no conventional defense could achieve. Elias's guidance allowed Lyra to anticipate every movement, every strike, every tactic. "They're trying to flank us," Elias shouted, pointing toward a group of ships attempting to bypass the shield. Lyra focused. The markings shifted rapidly, creating new pathways, guiding energy to intercept the attack. The ships slowed, repelled by invisible forces, unable to breach the dome. Every pulse of light felt alive, almost like the city itself was responding to its protector. Elias's heart raced. Humans were not the strongest species, not the fastest or the largest, but in this moment, human curiosity, perception, and reasoning had become a tool as powerful as any weapon. "You're incredible," Lyra whispered, though she was shouting commands at the same time. "Together, we are unstoppable." And then it happened. One of the rival ships attempted a direct assault, bypassing the shield and moving toward the center of the city. Elias quickly analyzed the energy flows, tracing the paths of the attack. "To the left, follow the pulse there," he shouted. Lyra shifted her focus, sending a stream of violet energy twisting through the air, meeting the ship head-on. A flash of light, and the enemy vessel stalled, suspended in the air, powerless. The rest of the faction's fleet paused, realizing their attack had failed. "Your markings, they are more than decoration," Elias said, panting from the effort. "They are alive. And you are alive with them. You just needed someone to interpret the language." Lyra laughed, a sound full of relief and triumph. "Then, humanity is valuable. After all." She turned to him, her expression sincere. "You saved not just me, Elias Hart. You saved my people, perhaps even the galaxy." Elias shook his head. "No, princess. We did it together. Zenthara's legacy is yours. I only helped it speak in a way we could both understand." The rival faction, realizing their assault was failing, began retreating. Their ships vanished into the distance, leaving the city and its people unharmed. Lyra's energy shield gradually dissipated, returning to a gentle glow across her back. The citizens of the capital emerged cautiously, marveling at the protective dome that had defended them. Lyra stepped down from the cliff, her eyes scanning the horizon. "The galaxy underestimates humans," she said quietly. "You may not have our strength, or our speed, or our weapons. But your mind, your perception, your curiosity, it is a power the universe cannot ignore." Elias smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. For the next several hours, the two of them worked together, studying the energy patterns, understanding the depth of Zenthara's power, and discovering how humans could safely interact with it. Every pulse, every glow, every shift in the markings revealed more of the ancient technology embedded in her bloodline. As the suns finally set, casting the planet in violet and silver light, Lyra and Elias sat side by side on the cliff, overlooking the city they had protected. Her markings glowed softly, like a heartbeat that echoed through the air. "You have changed my perspective, Elias," Lyra said, her voice gentle now. "I once thought humans were fragile, impulsive, limited. But you have shown me otherwise. Perhaps this is why you were here, why you were drawn to me, to the markings. You were meant to see them, to understand them, to guide me." Elias shook his head, smiling faintly. "I didn't know I would find something like this when I boarded Orvac Station. I only followed curiosity. The same thing that brought me to your back in the first place." Lyra laughed softly, a melodic sound that carried across the cliffs. "Yes, I remember. Why do you keep staring at my back, human?" He grinned. "I wasn't staring anymore. I was learning. And now, I think I understand more than I ever thought I could." She shook her head, smiling warmly. "You are bold, human, brave, and, perhaps, indispensable. Together, we have done what no one else could." Elias looked at her, feeling a sense of pride, relief, and hope. Humans were not the strongest, fastest, or most advanced species, but, in this moment, he realized that human ingenuity, curiosity, and perception could shine brighter than any weapon, any shield, any army. The stars above Zenthara sparkled, distant yet familiar, as if acknowledging their victory. Somewhere deep within the patterns of her markings, the ancient energy continued to pulse, alive, aware, and ready for whatever challenge came next. And somewhere deep inside him, Elias knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had proven its value in a galaxy full of wonder, danger, and mystery. With trust, courage, and curiosity, humans could face any challenge, even ancient powers and interstellar empires. As the night settled over Zenthara, Lyra and Elias stood together on the cliff, the city safe below them, the stars above them, and the energy of centuries flowing between them. The galaxy had witnessed human potential, and it would never be underestimated again.